It's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my favorite books of 2021. I know everybody's subscription boxes have been jam-packed with everybody's favorites and least favorite books, so hopefully everybody's like not tired of them yet, because I promise you that these books that I'm going to share with you today that are my favorites, they're not in other people's, because other people are like, really, Luna? Gonna lick your butt? Other people's are like new releases and backlists for 2020 and so on. So I'm going to do the same format that I did last year for my favorite books, and that is where at the end of my reading month, I wrote down a book that I really enjoyed or was my favorite. And so for some months I didn't have one, and other months I had maybe 2-3 books that I really enjoyed reading. And so I want to show you all the books first, and then I want to talk about my top 5 out of the stack. So some are ebooks and that I don't have, and some were library books that I sadly don't own yet. But yeah, so let's get into my favorites, my monthly favorites. For January, my favorite was Clockwork Princess by Cassandra. For February, it was The Secrets We Keep by Nikki Lee Taylor. For March, my favorite was All This Time by Mickey Daughtry and Rachel Lippincott, and I just want to read all of the other books by Rachel Lippincott because this was amazing. My April pick absolutely broke me at the end. It made me cry, and that is Written in the Stars by Aisha Saeed, and I just want to read everything else by this author. Alright, for May I had 2. The first one, House of Rougeau by Jenny Jekyll. I've been raving about this book all for like the remainder of 2021, and I'm still raving about it. And the sequel came out last year in July, and I have not read it yet. But yes, this is a epic family saga, and it's gut-wrenching. Highly recommend. And then the second May pick is Within These Wicked Walls by Lauren Blackwood. This is a Jane Eyre retelling set in Ethiopia. My favorite book in June was, Queen of Hearts by Colleen Oakes. This is a Alice in Wonderland retelling. For July, I got The Secrets of Us, which is kind of confusing when you think about it, and this is by Lucinda Berry. This is about 2 sisters who one kills her husband and says that he's not really her husband. For August, I chose Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo. I read the first book at the beginning of last year, and I didn't really like it, but I read it in anticipation of the show. I loved the show, and so I read this, and I could picture the characters with the actors, and yes, this one was amazing. And I need to pick up the third one, which I keep putting off because I don't want to end it, but I really want to get to Six Crows. In September, I also have 2. The first one is Iron Widow by Zirin Jaisal, and I read this as an e-arc, and I finished it on the day this was published, and I was immediately upset and ranting to my husband that the second book wasn't out yet. So the next day he went to the bookstore and bought the last copy that was on the shelf. And then I read The Changeling, which was my second favorite of September, and this is about goblins and fairy tales and a mom who murders her baby because she says that the baby is not her baby. So with my reading so far, you can tell that what I like. October, my favorite was a classic, and classics mean classics don't mesh, but this one I listened to on audiobook while I was reading, and it is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. And when I was listening to it, I realized that the narrator is Ben Barnes. Ben Barnes, who's the Darkling in Shadow and Bone, he plays Dorian Gray in the movie Dorian Gray. And yeah, so it was a favorite. I love the story. I like the movie more because it goes further into the Hellfire Club. And I ordered my copy from Books A Million, and they ended up canceling my order 2 months later because they could not get their own copy. So, and then in November, I didn't have a favorite. November was just an off month for me. October was the best reading month that I have had overall in 2021. I loved everything that I read. And then November, it was just like nothing was standing up to those expectations that I had. And then in December, I'm going to be holding up the sequel to the book that I read in December. I read The Golem and the Jinni. This is The Hidden Palace, book 2. I read The Golem and the Jinni by Helen Wicker. And it's about a golem, a clay woman, and a genie who's been trapped in this copper flask for thousands of years, and he gets released, and he immediately tries to kill the guy who set him free because he thinks he's the wizard. So, I have not started this yet. I got to read it in less than 2 weeks because out of 10 libraries in my library system, this is the only copy that my library system ordered to share between 10 libraries. I can't deal with my library. But yeah. So those are my favorites throughout 2021. My number one favorite of 2021 has to go to Iron Widow by Zira and Jaisal. Like I said, this is a Pacific Rim meets The Handmaid's Tale. I love the show, The Handmaid's Tale. I cry, I scream, I laugh, I cheer, I yell, I go through a myriad of emotions when I'm watching that show. So when I read the prologue about, what's her name? Zetian, when her sister dies, due to being a co-pilot in the Chrysalis, and that she was basically a concubine, fell in love. And so, this goes into Chinese history, and they got to, defend, the Berlin, not the Berlin Wall, the Great Wall of China from these monsters. And when I was reading this book, I had never watched Pacific Rim. Then one day I just decided, hey, let's watch Pacific Rim. So me and my husband, we watched it. And the whole time while we were watching it, I was just mad that this would never become a movie. Because it is exactly like Pacific Rim. Right down to the, connecting of the minds and the bodies into these machines. And, so I was a little mad that Pacific Rim beat this as a movie. But maybe this would be like a companion. I don't know. But yes, I am patiently waiting for book 2. I'm waiting for a title. The ending. Yeah, like, why? And how? I hope, if the sequel doesn't come out next year and is like delayed a year, then I know that Zira and Jaisal is just like working hard on the story to make it the best, and I'm just like, I'm here for it. And so, yeah. Fuck the patriarchy. That is it for my favorite books of 2021. Here are my top 3. Or, hold on. Here are my top 3. And then here are the rest that I've enjoyed throughout the 2021 year. But, yes. I tried to keep it like small. I read 136 books in 2021, and these 3 are my top favorite that I will reread and like recommend to everyone. So if you have not read any of these, highly recommend. Highly recommend. And highly recommend. Don't get this one confused with the book that came out last year. This came out in, I think, 2015. So, yes. Don't get this confused with the other one. But, yeah. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. And I will see you in my next video.